Dan Slott has come to DC Comics. Does Superman Unlimited leave us satisfied? Or are we wanting more? That and a load more comics this week on Pals Pulls. Hi, this is probably not the first voice you expected this week. I'm Tyler. I'm here with Marco and Cale. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, hot dog?
Hey, I'm Marco.
I said
I'm Cale.
Yeah, I said okay. It's on the screen correctly this time, I might add. Hi guys, what's up? Sean is on he's on a hot dog. He's on assignment right now. I guess that's the best way to describe Sean's whereabouts. But that's fine because even when Sean's not here, you know what's still here, guys?
Comics.
Yes, that's where I was going. Definitely not
The
somewhere
rest
else.
of us.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got comics. And we have, I think, 6 comics.
Count them.
6 comics this week. Feels weird on this end.
It's just Marco. Yeah, it's just not right, right? Like,
Well, look, and now I get to show you the slides of the comics because I don't have a physical comics. I'm a digital boy.
I got him.
Okay, all right. So we're going to start off with Superman Unlimited, we're going to be reading this week. We'll also be reading The Absolute Flash. We're going to be reading The New Gods, number 6. Batman. Wait, hold on. Whoa, hold on. Oh, now I feel like a dummy, guys. Come on.
Idiot.
I'm collecting this. There was no way I
That's
wasn't
true.
gonna
You
get
did
it.
speak of this. You did speak of this. Well, we also have Batman Superman World's Finest, the Pals poll of the week. And we're going to shift over to the Marvel land with the Ultimates, which, Marco got the Sanford Green variant. I'll have that shown up on the screen later.
Ooh.
I was looking forward to this one.
And
That'll
then
be cool.
the Amazing Spider-Man as well. Marco's going to soon run out of space in his apartment with all these books
Yep.
he's buying.
Oh no! I read these and they go straight to the into the hallway.
What? Are you throwing comics
There's
into
a
the
little-
hallway?
There's like a little
Yes.
table, and I just put them on top of that little table, and whoever wants them, I just put a little post-it note that says "free comics."
I'm imagining
usually
you
gone by
just
tomorrow morning.
finishing your book and be like, all right, cool. Just opening the door and just chucking it.
Tossing it.
Like near your like geriatric neighbor's door, and they assume it's just his mail he hasn't picked up because he might be decomposing somewhere. Where's the weird smell
Dead.
coming from? That's a lot. But you know what?
And
Well, we'll get to it later.
okay.
We don't want
I
to.
have it just in case. Sorry.
Okay,
Don't
cool.
blow my load
We'll get
immediately.
to it. Okay, that's gross. We don't need to be making allusions to that. That's
Come
disgusting.
on, man.
Come
It's
on.
a family show.
And speaking of family, let's talk about a super family with
Nice.
Superman Unlimited number 1. We are in the summer of Superman, fellas. How's that feel? How's the summer feel?
It doesn't feel like much of a summer. It's been raining.
Really?
But I'm
It's been
excited
hot.
for some Superman.
Oh,
Been hot here.
I've been freezing here.
Hot.
But even though I've been freezing and it's technically summer, I think it was Superman Unlimited hot for you guys. This one is by I have multiple devices here. We have
got
new to DC Comics. Writer extraordinaire Dan Slott, art by Raphael Albuquerque, colors by Marcelo Maiolo, and letters by Dave Sharp. Marco, since you want to flaunt that book so bad, what'd you feel about this this new foray into Dan Slott's tenure on Superman?
I was excited for this book. I've been hot on Superman in general. A lot of the books that we've had around the character have been strong, and I thought this would be I wanted this to be another installment of that. I think I might need a bit more time to get acclimated to Dan on this series, but I thought that this felt a little. It's a recounting. It's a recounting of events that have happened in Superman's life, how he kind of deals with it, the connections that he has with people in his life, and so I've seen some of those things. Obviously, we've been following all of the All In books, and I I think this was a good table setting for a new reader, but for somebody who has familiarity now, this felt a little empty. I think the end twist that we'll probably talk about, is interesting enough to maybe bring me into the next issue. But out the gate, I was reading this, and at some point, like some of the flashbacks and stuff, I was like, okay, all right, I'll skip a panel here or there, and maybe this page. It wasn't enthralling in that way, but I'm sure for somebody who is now here, maybe they're coming because of Dan Slott, a never DCer, now try to a fan of Slott and willing to give this a try. I think for that, this works. This is a functional comic for that.
Yeah, I should probably state what happens in this comic because I forgot to do that. This is a Superman Unlimited #1. This is the most #1 Superman book I've read in a while. It deals with Superman trying to. If you read the Free Comic Book Day special, you read half of this book. And it's Superman is stopping this kryptonite asteroid from busting into Earth. And as he touches it and he thinks he's going to die, his life flashes before his eyes. And it's essentially Dan Slott tackling the #1. Let's prime anybody who might be new to Superman, especially with the movie coming out. Let's prime them for what this book is. And that's pretty much the majority of the issue. As a not new Superman reader, Cale.
I found this incredibly boring, actually, because I've read almost everything that happens in this book. Like, this book is my exact Superman timeline for the most part. And it just I found it. I'm disappointed that this was the #1 instead of maybe the whole Free Comic Book Day issue. Like, for me, the last thing that happens isn't quite strong enough to carry me into the next one, especially given the issue that comes before. Like, how many times have we seen Superman fly into space and punch through kryptonite and and all that. And while this ending is an interesting new twist on that, I'm a bit more like, okay, well, maybe I'll just listen around and see what comes of this.
How do you feel that how does this function though as an introductory story, like removing that aspect of I've read this, I see this, right? For somebody who's
Remove
new
your whole
coming
comic
in.
book fandom for a second.
Well,
Cale.
not necessarily, but like put on the hat of a writer, right? And say, I need to write this for not me. I need to write this for a newbie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good enough. Okay, this gets into my other problem with this, and I was going to segue into it a little differently, but this works perfectly. I found the writing very stilted, I guess. There were a couple of instances where I was like, oh, he's telling us exactly what's on the page or whatever. Like, I'm looking at the when he wakes up in the watchtower, right? Crypto jumps on him, and in the next panel he says, Professor Haley, I'm on the Justice League watchtower in the med bay. Okay, cool, thanks. And then at the very beginning, when we meet what's her name, Morgan Edge, they say very specifically that she's the divorced capitalist billionaire wife of so and so Edge. Okay, what does that have to do with what, why is she divorced? What does that matter? Why is she? It just, like, it was all too on the nose, and even in the bits of dialogue, they were too expository in the way that they don't people don't speak like that. And it just it really bugged me. And then is this the same artist on Absolute Superman?
No, that's Sandoval.
That's
It was
Rafa
out.
Sandoval. Albuquerque
Albu-
was supposed to be the
Was
artist of
supposed
Action
to.
of Superman.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I had in my head this whole time. I was
Yeah.
going, this is not the same guy. What happened?
Yeah,
This is
something
not it.
happened. I don't know exactly what happened. Sean might know, but he eventually was on this instead.
Yeah. Well, I was going through this book thinking they were the same guy, and I was like, what is going on?
Same guy who did Huck, if you are familiar with Mark Millar's Huck.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of enjoyed this, guys, if I'm being honest. I
Okay.
thought it did its job. As a number one, it does everything right. It sets up stakes. It sets up the supporting cast. It reintroduces readers to the current status quo of the character. Even though this one not only had to do the current status quo, it had to do the overall history of Superman in one issue, which I think it does a pretty good job in a. It's maybe 2/3 of the issue, but I still think it does a decent job. And also sets the groundwork for where the whole series is going. I like the Albuquerque art a lot for Superman. He kind of draws this hokey looking Clark Kent. It's the bit where Superman wakes up from his super coma, or anytime Superman has something, you have to say super in front of it, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So his super coma, and then Clark Kent walks in the room, and I'm like, ooh, Albuquerque draws a good Clark Kent. Even though it's Martian Manhunter, I thought also great bit, by the way. I really enjoyed that. I think Slott has a good. I like the voice he had for these characters. He has a good everyman voice that I felt like Ma and Pa Kent having briefly in this worked. But my one gripe with it would be it goes through the trouble of setting the stage for what Superman is and where it's going. And it's very new reader friendly. But then the cliffhanger is gold kryptonite without explaining that. That's you need to know Superman to know what gold kryptonite is. So I thought the cliffhanger was a little more inside baseball than the rest of the book, which seemed antithetical to what the book's objective was.
Oh, was it Gold Kryptonite? I'd assumed it was like he turned into that Superman at the end of like All Star, and he goes into the Legion, like when he gets like
Oh
the
yeah, there's like the Superman 1,000,000 or something like that, right?
right. That's what I assumed. That
Yeah,
he
that's
just
probably.
transformed into that somehow.
I mean, even so, also inside baseball.
But I think it's he primed it at the beginning of the issue, like as like, oh, this is a statue, this is what you became, and so it almost felt like um a good prepare foreshadowing. Forgot the word for that. On Slott's part, to at the very least be able to say, okay, at the end of this issue, now he has become this. He's become the Superman of that would be the source of inspiration for the Legion and all that. So I quite liked the cliffhanger.
I mean, I liked it as just as a reader, because I know Superman. That was a good cliffhanger for me. I'm like, okay, cool. That also sets Superman up for a difference to the rest of the Super family. Now that Connor can be stabbed essentially, Supergirl can be punched in the face with kryptonite brass knuckles. Now, Superman is now above them in terms of his ability to withstand stuff, but because of that, his stakes are everyone else's stakes going forward. So now that pressure on him to kind of do exactly what he did in this book, which was put himself above everyone else, is going to be exacerbated throughout the series.
I guess I was going. Obviously, we're all speculating here, but I was going more on this is more like a kryptonite poisoning situation, where he really gets full on, you know, uh, uh, dipped into the kryptonite situation, gets into a system, and in that way, um, uh, he gets it becomes the gold kryptonite, but then that sort of leads into this. Who is doing the W. Maxwell Prince
The
situation where
The
it's
the
like, you know, he
Black Label
tests
book.
himself on all the kryptonites.
oh yeah,
That's not out yet. That's not coming out yet. But I think that's probably the kind of thing we're gonna see,
Which is a
in that
weird.
it's a story about kryptonite.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's weird that Kryptonite so specifically popped up right at the same time. I mean, I guess that's Superman's biggest villain, really, and the movie's coming up. That's yeah. I genuinely enjoyed it. I mean, we have Cheeky Devil here. Hello, Cheeky Devil in chat says, "Soup's mainline newbie here. Loved it. I went back and bought more copies for my son and some mates to jump on this train.
Holy cow.
Just triple,
yeah.
quadruple dipping on a
Yeah.
new Superman book. I think that's probably what they want. You are doing what they want. Like I'll let is Mr. DC Comics here? Does he know to put that on the trade back matter?
Cheeky devil doing what you want.
Yeah.
And Cheeky Devil, let us know where you're coming from. Like, are you coming from the Absolute stuff? Are you previously a Marvel reader? Like, what got you here?
I thought you were going to say where he's coming from because he said mates
Oh
in
no,
terms
no.
of
Well, I mean,
geographically.
I assume that's in Australia, England.
You say it all the time.
Well, also wanted to shout out Hayden's Hideout. Thank you so much for the super chat, $10. Hey pals, I haven't read much this week as your boy is a bit under the weather, but I did read Hulk and Doctor Strange #1. It's a fun book, and I loved the backup Aunt May and Agatha story. Nice. I was looking at that one, and I was like,
It's the JMS one, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's one of his like team up books that he's doing.
Oh.
Sorry to hear you're sick, bud. Hopefully you recuperate soon, but hopefully that also means it gives you some more time to read some comics.
Yeah, and just you can take a break from the gooning for a bit if you're feeling bad. Just it'll be there for you when you're back when
That's
you're
what it
feeling
was.
better. Yeah. Oh, he's got a
The
gooning related
gooning.
accident.
Well, it decreases your immune system.
That's the one time I
That's some
wish
re-
I could stop gooning. It gets worse when I get sick.
you okay, let's not delve into this one. I have way too many questions here. Yeah, no, so Atomic Hound, easy pull. And that's coming from a Superman vet. Monster design. I think the Kryptonite economy part sounds interesting. Story was pretty basic but good. The art isn't my favorite, but I'm not too familiar with Albuquerque. Albuquerque's probably best known for what he kind of broke into the field with, which is American Vampire with Scott Snyder,
Oh yeah.
which is a DC compact book at this point. So I think issue 2 is going to be a real interesting issue in terms of like, all right,
Actually getting
Yeah.
into the meat of this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really hate when they do that.
you hate when your issue
Man.
2s are always your issue 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like,
If anything, maybe the free comic book day special should have been its own thing. That was the flashback. That's your
Yeah.
primer, and then you go
Yeah.
right into the ground running with this. But maybe I didn't get that book, so
oh,
Guess it's
I'll
a-
mail you one.
you have enough.
11.
Maybe that's why you didn't like this book. You read it so many times.
You know what? I haven't touched it.
No,
I haven't read it.
It's literally
Don't
like,
even know why I went.
yeah. CW Gordon says bring back the issue 0. Let's not go that far.
Well, I don't mind a good issue 0.
Yeah, I never understood the issue 0. Read a better issue 1.
I did want to ask before we finished up here, the kryptonite piece, like the city in Brazil and the economy. How did you feel? Sorry, did you feel that the fact now that the super peoples potentially being hurt and like incapable of being as invulnerable, does that add stakes to the future for these characters for you guys?
I guess a little bit. It's depowering, It's sometimes with the super family, it becomes a power level thing, and then their villains have to match that somehow, which ends up just being their villains mimicking their power set most of the time. So Peacemaker could be an issue for Superman or Supergirl or something like that. So possibly, again, it's going to be one of those things where like I have to see what Slott's cooking up here, but possibly.
Yeah, I like it, but it sort of raises the question to me. It's just like, okay, well, they'll just stay out of Brazil.
Well, it's around the world now, right?
It's an arms market. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it does definitely. I think you're right. And I think with this new Superman family status quo, and then also, the Justice League Unlimited, I think it adds a massive level of danger for, you know, DC's most powerful family. So I think that's huge.
And I think the inverse of it with the possibility to have some lesser known or lesser powerful villains go toe to toe with Superman kind of gives them a bigger spotlight. Could be fun. I did like that one page that Albuquerque drew here where it was split in the middle by Lex, I believe, where it was all his villains, like Darkseid, it was like a Toyman, Parasite, and then like below it was all his like his friends or whatever, like the supporting cast. It's the JLU Justice League, right? Because Shara Hall is in that.
Well, and that's Wally's new suit too.
Yeah, it's like the current iteration of the cartoon team, which I guess is a play on Unlimited. I thought it was great. I'm excited. This is a pull for me.
Yeah, it's a pull for me as well.
I'm gonna say this was a pass.
Oof.
Because it was so. Uh, this is a pass for me, but I think it would be something that I would recommend because it's, so new reader friendly.
Okay. You're still gonna read issue 2 though. Probably because we'll have to do it for the show.
Show up for issue 2.
Sean's going to want to talk about an issue, so we're at least getting 2 on the show.
Yeah.
But for the listeners, 58% say pull, 21% say didn't buy / read, 15% pass, and pick the week at 3%. That's a lot of didn't buy or read. That's a lot on the negative side for a Superman #1, but I guess still the majority is positive.
I wonder why so many didn't buy read. Is this not on people's radar?
I don't
Is
think it is.
Out?
I would say one, like it or not, like Superman does still kind of have like a negative rep.
It's not Batman.
He's not Batman.
Yeah.
2, I think it's a I forgot what my 2 was. 3, it's Dan Slott. And that dude definitely doesn't have a good rep from Spider-Man and all that time at Spider-Man and all the Spider clones. So,
but I'm looking at like League of Comic Geeks and Superman Unlimited, so it's sorted by the amount of people pulling it on the website. Superman's number 18 on this week.
That's it.
Yeah.
My number 2 was, it could just be they haven't read it yet.
Sure.
I think I don't know if they've marketed it well enough. Honestly, if people aren't picking it up, like people are more likely to read according to this stats, but we're up there in terms of amount of people pulling. Catwoman, Zatanna, Moon Knight. Like, in what world does a Moon Knight book get picked up more? A Moon Knight book in like number 8, 4th volume, more than a Superman #1 by a new writer who's like a big get for DC. That's interesting to me.
I think that people also know what a Superman book is going to be. Whereas like something with a Moon Knight, people are very much in the camp of like, well, this is something different, something interesting. I know what's going to happen in a Superman book.
Well, we'll see then. But yeah, that's Superman Unlimited #1. Guys, if you like what we do here, check us out. Hit that subscribe button. We need more likes on this video, guys. We got a good amount of you here. Matt Fisher with the 199 super chat said, "I know you saw that, Sean." He might have seen whatever you're referring to, but he did not see that super chat.
You know what?
He's
I'll
not
bet
here.
he did.
He might have. You think Sean's multitasking right now? Possibly.
I bet he's here.
Yeah. If you are Sean, hi in the chat. But yeah,
Let him know.
and if you like what we're doing, even without Sean at this present moment, hit a little subscribe on YouTube. Really helps. Or you can join the Patreon. You get a lot of cool shit on the Patreon. You get newsletters from us. You get a palling around. Last palling around, we talked about my speed dating adventures or misadventures. So if that wets your whistle enough, sign up on the very euphemism loaded episode so far.
Wet somebody's whistle.
That's what I get for hosting. But yeah, check us out there. Would appreciate that. But let's get right back into the comics instead. You guys want to talk Absolute Flash number 3?
All right.
This
Boy.
Can I just say, I don't like how it's Absolute. Should it be Absolute the Flash or the Absolute Flash?
No, absolute
It
flash.
throws me off. Absolute Flash feels wrong to me, and I do not know why. But anyway, it's how it is. It's what it is. Can't be changed. But this one is by writer Jeff Lemire, and art by Nick Robles, colors by Adriana Lucas, letters by Tom Napolitano. So this is young Wally, Absolute Wally, kind of still running away from the Rogues. That was kind of the crux of the second issue. He's still doing that here, but we are introduced to Absolute version of Grodd, and they kind of do a bit of a Vulcan mind meld in this. Grodd and Wally sort of see there's similarities, and then Wally sort of starts to understand where he is in the grand scheme of this Flash story and the origin of what this version of the Flash is. Marco, I went to you first last time, so Cale, what you think about this Flash?
Excuse me. I thought this was fine. The real strength here is the art. I don't think that's an insane thing to say. The art is really carrying this. I do sort of feel like this is issue 3, and we should be out of this one particular situation by now.
Mm-hmm.
For a book about a fast guy, it's moving so slow.
Damn, you took probably me and Marco's joke that we were going to make
Yep.
at some point.
I don't really understand why we still need to be in this moment.
These books should be moving faster. In fact, I think every issue should be a month.
Well,
No?
I don't know about that.
Wrong one?
Let's slow
Okay.
down a little there.
Okay, all right, my bad.
But I like this Grodd twist. I like the fact that Wally will have a cool animal sidekick or whatever. I could see that going badly at some point. Cool. I didn't totally get how we got to the end, other than I guess Wally sort of felt like he wasn't alone, and now he just has to kind of step into this new role that I think if I remember correctly, he has seen.
Okay, you're pointing out a part that really stuck with me as an issue with this issue.
Yeah.
You're right. This book is taking forever. We're still running from the inciting incident that happened at the end of issue 1.
Yeah.
2 more issues in.
Yeah.
So it's going slow, but then the huge jump of Wally saying, "Well, I guess I'm a superhero now." It's like a kickstart almost. It's like, oh, it's going really slow, and then boom, it goes.
But yeah,
and it narratively lost me.
So I think someone on the Discord pointed it out, but it doesn't feel like he has any real reason to. And maybe we're reading too far into it. Maybe he's not going to be a superhero or whatever. Maybe he's just picking up the dead guy's clothes.
Yeah, first of all, His first reaction to seeing somebody he knew, by the way, his dead corpse
Yeah.
was, "Let me get that guy naked."
See those bones.
It's not an RPG, buddy. That's real life. You can't just be picking people's clothes off and wearing them. I don't know. I thought that was weird.
I haven't connected with this book. This is probably at the bottom of the pile for me in terms of all the absolute books. Um, like it has cool moments like this Grodd piece, but then when he ran to fight Captain Boomerang here, he like left the monkey, he left Grodd, and my thought was, oh yeah, I guess he can't really run with this monkey. I started thinking like too much about the logistics of this, and
You thought too much
once
about the logistics of a telepathic monkey.
of a telepath of not being able to run as quickly with a telepathic monkey because you might rip its head off or something in the process, like and I feel like once I start doing that with a book, I'm like, okay, you're not bringing me someplace that I'm having fun with. And so I'm thinking too much, right? I'm not feeling enough. And that's the issue I'm having is I'm not feeling enough with this book. Like you guys brought it up. I don't know what his purpose in this is. Like I don't know what his friend Wally dies and now his dad wants it back, but he's like pissy about his dad. That's not engaging me.
Yeah, like I thought the bit with Grodd, the mind meld, was actually the most compelling part of the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you put a cute little green capuchin monkey with his brain showing. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But the fact that there is some parallels between, like, oh, both of our mothers died. Oh, we have this facility where the people who are leading it verbally abuse us. One being Wally's dad, and the same being for Grodd. I thought that was good. But I'm also like, I can understand now their connection as a pair, as a duo. I still don't understand Wally's connection to the greater story of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see like a dark turn for Grodd. He'll still be the villain we know, or the villain. He'll still be a villain that we're roughly familiar with, but he will be the sort of uh mirror identity to Wally, not necessarily in the same way that like the Reverse Flash is, but in that they have similar backstories. They were both tortured by, Wally's dad, and they they will both have different goals because of that.
And I know chat's saying, like he saw. I understand he did see his future in issue 2, but I'm still not like, yes, he saw it. I'm not sure he understands it, and I know that's the premise of the book. Like he sees this thing and he doesn't know where that leads to, but he's trying to pick up the pieces and grasp at what was a good future. I'm still having issues connecting all those pieces narratively and in terms of motivation.
Yeah, well, but like why?
Yeah. It's yes, you showed me. Yes, I've seen this, but the why isn't really there.
What about it is it connecting enough? Like what about it is inciting enough to compel him?
That being said, Nick Robles is fucking killing it on this. This book looks good. There was multiple 2-pagers, like 2-page spreads in this book, where there's one with it's a double-page spread. It's pretty early on, where you can see Wally running in the middle, and there's that whatever shade of red that they're using in this. Let me get the. Actually, yeah. Marco picked it out.
Tyler's about to get the hex code for this color, dude.
Ooh.
I like.
I was thinking about it.
I was like the designs, like the clean lines of the running feel like design work.
Yeah.
And then especially this like what is this 1, 2, 4th panel at the bottom that stretches across.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's pulling, and I like that. His art's dynamic, and then you get to the help me whatever monstrous page, and there's a lot of good colors here. The blacks are really just dark and stark, and
Helps
it
the other
allows
colors
the other
pop.
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the art front is solid on this.
Yeah, Adriano Lucas is really picking some interesting colors here, and I think that there is a way that they're designing the way they depict the Speed Force, it feels very sci-fi. Which at its inception, the Flash is a science fiction character that I think has gotten a little away from classic sci-fi in modern. With the Speed Force, it almost becomes like a godlike thing that I feel like it's kind of moved away from that. This feels more like, all right, science experiment gone wrong still. And I think they're leaning into it with the design. It feels like almost not Tron-like, but there's a bit of elements there that remind me of like capacitors or like CPUs almost, in the way they're drawing that Speed Force. If it even is the Speed Force, we don't even know at this point. But the art still, like, as much as I'm not really jiving with the story, there's little glimpses here and there that I enjoy. The art is enough for me to keep reading this book because I think it just looks really good.
Shout out to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Just gonna get these super chats real quick. Jay Sage with the £4.99. I'm on holidays. It's payday and the pals. What a day!
Ooh.
Hey, congrats, bud. Where you at?
You guys get Memorial Day
happy-
over there too? What do you guys get then?
Not a bank holiday.
Bank holiday.
Forgetting day.
No, it is a bank holiday, but it ain't Memorial Day.
Yeah. I think Superman Unlimited is selling low because Mainline and Absolute is so good right now. That may very well be a cause.
Porque no los dos? Why not both?
And another $5 from Hayden's Hideout. I also loved Spider-Man and Wolverine. Ooh, I haven't gotten to mine yet. If I have it, wait. The iconic scenes with swapped characters were fun. Spider-Man also has really thick thighs. Gooner pick of the week. All right, then.
Equal opportunity Gooner. Hayden.
Sure.
Love to see
Wow.
it.
Where was it? Oh, Hayden points out Al Shogunate in the Discord, who is Carter Mitchell here on YouTube, mentioned that these 3 issues should have been squished into 1 issue. Do you agree or disagree with that? I do.
Agree.
Yeah, I think. I just, like I said, I just don't understand why we're here still. Do you guys remember? Did Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, did they have extended issues? I feel like Batman did.
In terms of page count?
Yeah.
At least the
so,
first
yeah.
one. At least the
Yeah.
first one for Batman. Yeah.
I just feel like there should be more happening.
I don't know about 1 issue, but I do think these 3 issues should have been condensed in a way.
Yeah. I just feel like we should have seen more of other people. More people in the town, people, other soldiers, more with, the other, rogues. Just more than Wally running through the desert.
We even got a quick throwaway that Eobard Thawne is in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like a blink and you miss it word balloon. And he kind of looks like Paul from Spider-Man, which was like, okay, cool.
Kinda.
He looks identical.
Dog might as well be Paul Thawne.
Oh, what that is what would happen if when they join the DC and Marvel universes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, what's that?
Amalgam.
Oh yeah, Amalgam would be Eobard Thawne and Paul. That's like hater
Paul.
supreme right there.
Chad Thawne.
So,
Uh,
go ahead, Paperboy.
sorry. The Pete Collins calls out that this issue 1, this cover looks like Why the Last Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
good point. I never read that.
Oh, that's real good.
Yeah, why? I don't know.
Why? 'Cause it's amazing.
It's good.
Yeah, it's on my list. I think if there's like a volume that comes out in compact, that might do it. I think this is still. This is weird because I don't know if I would say pull, but I still want to read this book. So I think by that
Yes.
alone, it has to be at least a weak pull, but a pull nonetheless.
A tug.
Okay, well, hold on now.
This is a pass for me, dude. And it's not even that it's bad, right? Like it is just
No, it's not,
I'm
yeah.
uninterested.
See, I feel that, but I am also more interested in this than I am other stuff that we're reading.
Okay.
I like there's enough here for me that even though it's going slow, I still want to know where it's gonna come out.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's tough. I guess I'm gonna say pull.
Oh, okay. I had you for pass.
All right, well, what did the audience think?
I got you.
If you want to end that poll, Marco.
Got you right. End that poll.
All right. You got a 65% poll. 25% didn't read. Pass 6. And pick of the week is 2%. That's people are into
Still pretty
absolute
strong.
books.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, people do like these absolute books. Absolutely. I'd be curious to see if there's anyone reading this book who has never read a Flash book.
Hmm.
Oh,
I
gotta
assume,
be.
yeah, I assume there's definitely got to be. But I would be curious to see, like, how does this feel as a new Flash book for you?
Kenneth
Um,
Williams says, "Is Lemire writing the story the whole way through?" I believe so. Yeah,
As
all
far
the
as
way
we know,
through.
yeah.
yeah, as far as we know, for all the absolute books so far, the creative team that it's announced with is the creative team you get. Occasionally, Batman will do a fill-in artist. Superman just did one, but they let us know that for the
Wonder Woman
solicits.
as well. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And Steve Canaris here says, "I believe in Jeff Lemire. I believe in Jeff Lemire too, but like
JSA right now, man.
JSA is the thing, right? Like JSA is the book that I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the guy for this
Yeah.
book, 100%. But like here, I don't know. Something's falling flat here for me.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to put my finger on too because it strangely doesn't feel like a Jeff Lemire book right now. I think we are in a point with by the end of this arc possibly, where Wally is this wayward youth, traveling cross country and being a superhero on the side. That sounds like a Jeff Lemire book to me.
Mm.
But we're not there yet, and it's all this preamble to get to that place that just feels out of it for me.
I'd be down for that. If that's what it becomes,
Yeah.
I'm back on the.
And I'm in. I would love Jeff Lemire to draw an issue too.
But also, I don't know about that. But also, 3 issues to get there.
I agree. I agree.
Like-
Yeah.
David Melendez, Doria, Hayden, and Carter Mitchell all say that they have not read The Flash,
Wow.
and this is the one. David says it's not the one for him. He says first Flash for me, and this is in fact not working for me. Hayden says this is my first Flash book since Man of Paul's New 52 run. Great book. Carter Mitchell says I also have not read a straight Flash book until this. I guess a few Silver Age issues actually.
Imagine just dipping your toe into just Silver Age Flash books for fun.
Yeah. Whack.
Some good old Wallywood stuff. Ben Lally says, looks like the cover artist is a sneakerhead. Those look like Jordan 8s. Either of you guys sneakerheads?
Well, I don't even have money to buy sneakers.
I
wish I.
Yeah. I got a pair of
Wish I could
Vans
get
that I
into that.
wear out until they are unwearable. And that's when I re-up. It is a form of transportation for me.
Yep.
Re-up.
Yeah, I got a pair of Doc Martens that I've been using like crazy. Love them.
Yeah, just
Oh,
recharge the-
I've full on transferred into Hey Dudes. Do you
I
guys
have
know
a pair,
about
I was
these?
gifted a pair of Hey Dudes. Yeah, that's
I
some,
wear them everywhere.
that's some old man stuff. I gotta be
I
real.
am living.
I do not go out of the house with my Hey Dudes. They're essentially my
Guess
house
what?
slippers.
Guess what? House slippers, in house. Outside slippers for outside. Guess how many Hey Dudes I have? I have 3 pairs of Hey Dudes so that I can one mesh them with different outfits, but also so I don't have to wear normal shoes.
Are they all the same kind? You're like a cartoon character that has like the same wardrobe that you just
Yeah.
have different versions
Yeah.
of? Yeah.
Yep.
Fair.
Love
Fair.
it.
Cale, I'm going to go back to you because we're going to a little book called The New Gods, number 6.
Hit me. Okay.
This is by friend of the show, Rom V. Check out our interviews with him on the channel. Search Rom V Comics Pals. There's at least 2. Artist, Evan Cagle, for a bit of it. But most of it with guest artist, Felipe Andrade. with he did some colors for his stuff as well. Francesco Segala coloring as well, with letters by Tom Napolitano again. This is the fallout to Light Ray's demise at the end of issue 5, and this is a Black Racer focus issue, and how he ushers Light Ray through the afterlife of a new god. And then we also get a little bit of what's going on concurrently with the main story in this. Mr. New Gods himself, Cale. What'd you think?
Man, I am so intrigued by the Black Racer. I've always loved the idea of the Black Racer. I think he is just so interesting. In the older books, the Kirby stuff, I think he looks so stupid.
He's a skier.
But he's a skier
Yeah.
in a night costume for some reason. And then he's the Black Flash. And here he's like he's updated, he's modern, he's sleek. He's so cool. I love this concept of death. I that said, I don't think I understand what happened in this issue.
Dude,
Mm.
I was reading it going like, man, Kale's gonna understand this. He'll explain this to me.
I
He'll tell
think
me what
I
happened.
think I've got it.
Give it your pitch. I have an idea. I have an interpretation of this as well. I wonder if
And
Marco does. I wonder if they're all similar.
They probably are, because I think it's a very surface level thing that I think is just mixed up in sort of abstract art. And I think that's what is sort of clouding the issue, so to speak. The racer is leading Light Ray into the next realm, whatever's next. And he explains to Light Ray that that the racer he's not a new god. He's death. He's straight up death. He's essentially the ferryman, right? He takes the spirit of gods and of, I think mortals alike, and he ushers them into the next realm. So as he's doing this with Light Ray, they're attacked by a darkness that in the journey to the next realm, there are hazards, and I keep wanting to call him Black Bolt. The racer points out, that there's this darkness, but don't worry, it can't do anything, and then the darkness grabs it. And so I think all around in New Gods, what is happening is, I think there are bigger forces that are reaching out into places that they shouldn't be, because of this vacuum that or what I assume the reason is because of Darkseid's absence.
It's pretty much exactly what I was getting from it. Darkseid's death and absence is an imbalance to everything that is New God.
Yeah.
And Black Racer didn't really think it would affect whatever his deal is, but it is. It's affecting the afterlife as well.
Right.
And
so
he's recognizing that.
So Light Ray, just as the Black Racer, for whatever reason, is about to give in to this darkness, the Light Ray says, "Hey man, don't do that." And he becomes, the death's scythe. And it fights off the darkness.
The darkness. There's a listener who I chat with on Reddit. Morpheus likes to dream. Shout out if you're here in the chat. He tunes in every once in a while. He was theorizing, and I was kind of like going back and forth with him on this, that this darkness, because they mentioned specifically a clear path to the source bounded on all sides by a great darkness. Great darkness, potentially a reference to in Swamp Thing. There's a like the two hands, the hand of light and the hand of darkness, that ultimately meet, that encompass what is ultimately good and evil in the DC universe. When they come to peace, this is an extension of that potentially, and that getting integrated into the larger lore and mythology of the new gods.
In
The
Right,
darkness
right.
is the evil hand.
in the
Yeah,
Great
okay.
Darkness is also a Legion concept. Like those words together
Yeah.
have significance in
Yep.
DC Comics.
Yep.
It's almost like it's a thing a lot of characters run into, this idea of the Great Darkness. I always think of it as like the Nothing from Neverending Story. It's just this encroaching void that eats up and swallows everything whole. And different characters
Yeah.
have different names for it. It's just such a nebulous idea that everyone can experience it, but it's all similarly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No.
I like in the middle of like trying to explain that it really is at its core this issue a two character story. It's Light Ray and his really one of his few friends in the Black
Yeah.
Racer.
Yeah.
Because Light Ray was the other son for All Father or High Father. He was, Orion was the son. He was the warrior. Light Ray was his sweet little boy who could never be the warrior, but he didn't even think he had powers at one point.
Yeah.
He eventually, displays them stuff. But like High Father says, his power is that he's hope. Like that's his real power. So even Black Racer recognizes like, hey, they need you. I know you're dead right now, and I'm just supposed to be ushering you onto whatever your next phase is, but there might be a way to bring you back.
Right. So Marowak Iskiro and Banksy Main both want to know, did Light Ray reincarnate on Earth? Banksy Main says Light Ray came back to life as a child, though, too. So is that an innate power of his to not die somehow? I don't think so. I think the I think Light Ray was sent to through the source wall to live again. I don't know if I'm convinced that the boy in this the boy in this section.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm convinced that's Light Ray
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think we know
because
his full end spot yet. Yeah,
because in the Kirby stuff, the Black Racer possesses a human and uses a human form um, to fight crime.
really.
To a degree.
It's like a side
He
hobby.
he does like chase down and take death. I think it's the Black Racer, and I think pardon me, who did that part?
That was also Felipe Andrade.
Was that
Andrade, yeah,
Andrade?
Philip
Oh,
Andrade,
man.
yeah.
I
Anything
think
watercolor
they
looking
the
was
book.
Andrade. Yeah,
I think he has done the I think that's why Andrade made that boy looks so gaunt
Yeah.
and with the hollow eyes and
yeah, and even the C.W.
Yeah,
Gordon
makes
says
sense.
the captions say "Death stalks the living once more."
Yeah, just about to call that out.
It's
yeah.
it's the Black
So
Racer, and that's him then joining the fray with the other new gods because he's there with them now
right.
Right.
because they're all on Earth. I thought this was a great issue. I do think the Felipe Andrade art is good. There's no disputing that. It's a little abstract though, which I can understand. Oh, yeah, almost too abstract.
Yeah.
I didn't know Light Ray was with him until you saw that one page where he's holding like a little globule of light. I'm like, oh, I didn't catch that throughout the previous pages. So it's a little much. I still really liked it. I liked how chewy this book was. Like when I was done with it, I was like, okay, savoring it a bit, chewing on it, which I think is it's proof of a Rom V special. That's every good Rom V book for me.
Yeah.
But this might be a little too obtuse for a lot of people.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this will be the exact same problem New Gods has had basically every other issue. I think as much as there is to chew on, I think it will be very thick because what happens here is significant, but it's too little.
In terms of like story progression.
Story progression. Yeah.
Sure.
And while I disagree with that because I think quite a bit happens here, you know, I feel like there will be readers who will vehemently disagree because all we get is 2 minutes later of Superman catching the spaceship, right? Like,
That being said, though, the Evan Kagel, I think Evan Kagel does the first page, which is like the retelling of the death of Lightray from last issue, which is gorgeous. Oh,
Yeah.
such a damn good page. And then he does the final couple pages where with Superman stuff. His Justice League is clean.
Yeah.
I liked how different it was compared to the New Gods.
Yeah.
The New God, like he's leaning into the almost over design of like Kirby New God creations.
Yeah.
You know, they're almost those things can be a little too Kirby-esque. You know, everyone's got, you know, circles and lines connecting them in their costumes, and then compare that to Superman in this. It's just clean lines, flat colors, stands out compared to everyone. And that panel, Marco, pan down a little bit, of Orion. It's the most anime looking shit I've seen in a comic in a while.
He's so good at it.
I really like his Superman.
I do too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah, even the way he like drew the Green Lanterns all distinctly different.
Yeah.
Without ever seeing their faces.
Yeah.
That's
John
good.
and those slutty thigh highs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think like I really like Evan Kagel, and I'm excited to see what else he does in this book. I don't it's his paneling isn't, you know, it kind of breaks the mold in that first page. But afterwards it's pretty traditional.
Yeah.
But man, I think there's something special here with him. I think Ron V had a good ass get grabbing him for interiors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very excited. Very excited to see how else this progresses. I've been down maybe like an issue or two. This kind of brought me back up. I'm excited to see how this progresses.
That's so funny. Last issue really lit me on fire again, and this
Yeah.
one kind of got me.
It's been a little uneven, I feel like. I wonder how this will read if in trade. Like once it's all just there, is it going to be a slog or is it going to be fun and engaging because things are happening faster?
It feels a bit like a roller coaster. Like last issue was like, oh, we're going down a hill right now. Super speed. This one kind of feels like, all right, we need to slow down a bit to maybe then hit a loop correctly. The whole series has kind of been all over the place. I've liked it because of that, though. This is probably easily top 5 books coming out from me right now. I don't know where.
Yeah.
I would have to think about it hard to know where it lands,
Agreed.
but it's really up
Agreed.
there for me. It's probably my favorite Rom V D like mainline superhero book he's ever done.
Ever? Huh. Humph.
Yeah, sorry, Swamp Thing. I mean, but sorry,
Oh, I mean,
the Swamp Thing.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, easy pull for me.
Pull.
Yeah. Pull.
Almost my
still
pick.
here for this. Still collecting. Still collecting. I'm on board. Somebody who's not on board. Stoops. Stoop Kid's here. He says he came off his stoop to tell us that it tries too hard, but it's what it's going for. This was the weakest issue for me so far.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Marco, end that poll. See what we got on this.
Got you. And while you do, who is it? Ben Loudly says, do you think Cagel's limit is 16 pages at this rate? This is built into this book. It is splitting the art duties between these two guys, or between Cale and another artist for the sake of story and lore and all that kind of stuff. So this is built into it. I don't know that it's a limit as much as it is just a function of the story.
We do know Cale is new to interior. This is his first second interior comic after Dawn Runner. So this definitely helps him. but it also is built into the way the book is being told.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a limit as much as like Marco said, it's a function. So
Right.
it could be a function for the limit to make the limit function.
Nice.
Sure.
And the listeners say 50% pull, 25% didn't buy or read, 15% pick of the week, and
Ooh.
7% pass. Okay, hey, pick of the week,
15,
that's a good
yeah.
amount.
That's good for pick of the week percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
65% positive across the board.
Oh, and Stoop clarifies, I like it a lot actually, but this was the weakest for me.
Fair.
I get it. Yeah. It's all right, Stu kid.
Do you get them delivered, your comics? Right to the stoop?
The Stoop?
You don't need to answer that.
Oh, listen, yeah.
And if you don't know who Stoop Kid is, that's even funnier.
Stoop Kid's left his stoop.
Do you want to talk about the, but before we get into the Pals poll pick, World's Finest, number 39, how did we get this book on our docket even? How does this work?
Heck if I know.
Is there almost like a poll that you can go to at youtube.com/community or whatever the hell YouTube wants to call it these days? If only there was a poll up right now.
That simply couldn't be true. Oh my gosh.
Is there a poll up? Oh no. All right, Cale, you want to read us what's on that poll?
You got it. The poll for next week is a reasonably strong one. We've got Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell, number 2. We've got Mr. Terrific, Year 1, number 1. Hyde Street, number 6. And Justice League Unlimited, number 7. Now, this is fascinating because Justice League Unlimited, number 7 is going to be the next part of the book that won the poll this week. And I got to tell you, if y'all were looking to continue, it ain't going to happen.
It is in third place currently, which is kind of nuts. First place. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure is. Jeez, a Lou.
First place is Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, number 2 so far.
Rightfully so.
That's Charles Soule with Steve McNiven.
Steve McNiven. Yeah.
I got to say, the DC has been shoving Mr. Terrific Year 1 down my throat this week with all their comics and it having a preview in every book so far. I got to say, it looked pretty good. The art looked pretty good.
I haven't read it.
Delandro Valentin. Who's the guy who was on Bitch Planet with Kelly
Valentine Delandro.
I went backwards. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
He's on art on this. So they look pretty damn good. And it's a character to look out for with him being in the films.
You know what? I'm going to say it. You can't make me care about Mr. Terrific.
Oh, ooh, that sounds like a challenge.
Just you wait.
Hey, listen. It won't happen in Superman. I'll tell you that right now.
I will say, looking at this poll though, did 3 of the books use the same shade of scarlet red? Like I feel colorblind looking at these 3 books back to back to back. The Terrific logo, Hyde Street, and Justice League logo use all this same weird shade of red.
I don't know, lightish red.
Well, this week, the winner of the poll was World's Finest, number 39, by friend of the show. We can say that now, right?
Whoa, yeah, dude.
I mean, we can sort of say that because this is written by... Oh, no, this one was just by Mark Waid. Mark Waid, writer of World's Finest, number 39, with art by Clayton Henry and colors by Tamara Bonviron. Marco, what you think? What you thinking about World's Finest? A Superman-Batman story where time is broken and the Legion of Doom is running amok throughout 2 points of time.
I want to start with the art. Clayton Henry.
Not a good sign.
Excellent. I had a lot of fun. Overall I had a lot of fun with this book. The art I think was the thing that stood out for me. Very expressive faces, really good moments. Some of the action I think and the colors used were really strong to accentuate said action, and the story overall. I mean, typically I don't like when you're just kind of like mashing together your toys, but in this instance I felt like there was a bit more um emotional connection, like when when Alfred appears and everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, and I was like, oh
To
shit, that's
that
right.
to that same degree when Lois shows up as Superwoman to the
Right.
past Superman. I
Yep.
thought that was great.
That
His
that
his
yeah.
his reaction there was great.
That was my favorite series of panels this week, just in terms of
Yeah.
storytelling. There's a bit where, so I'll read what Lois Superwoman says here. He says, "Clark, we have to get a move on. If you
Yeah.
see our son, tell him to bring his boyfriend, Bruce, Tim. I don't understand the retro look, but you're needed too." And then Dick, who's actually Robin, says, "At no time during that encounter could I predict the next word she would say."
That was so good.
That's great.
I can imagine like a son, boyfriend, like,
My son? Wait a minute.
hey, sure he would have been fine with it too. It's just a different time back
He's
then.
from Kansas. He's from Kansas.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm calling people out.
Well, he's
Um,
from Krypton. Grow up,
oh, sorry,
Marco.
sorry,
It's
sorry.
true. It's true. Wow.
I did like those like little moments though, because there is an earlier panel and someone shared it in the Discord, but where um Robin's just chilling there and it's like, oh my god, how many have there been in relation to?
Yeah.
Oh look, another Robin. He's so good.
Mark Wade writes a good Dick Grayson. I gotta say, I
Yeah.
have fun with Mark Wade's Dick Grayson. Sorry, pregnant pause there.
Oh,
But I thought this was fun.
yeah. I think it very easily could have been a time travel story.
Yeah,
Oh, they've got shenanigans. But I think what makes it so interesting is that we jump between uh our world's finest, which is, the one from the past. We jump between the past ones and then the future ones, the ones that are in the now. Um and we jump back and forth. That coupled with not only interesting fights, but uh those small emotional moments on either side of the spectrum, both with Alfred and with Lois Superwoman, I think play really, really well. And I think that's where Wade really excels, is that he knows how to make it interesting, but how to take it that one step further so that you feel it at the same time.
yeah. Wade knows how to get to the heart of an issue. Like, this is a giant timey wimey. This feels like a Doctor Who like special, like special episode. Where they bring back other doctors and they can do all kinds of ads and stuff. But it feels big but small at the same time. Like, yes, it's this big event where time is broken. They get to bring all the heavy hitters from out DC Universe and throw them all into the sandbox to have fun. But really, it's a story about Superman, and Batman, and Robin. Like, like it's really them dealing with that and their interactions, and like, what do those characters mean out of time? And like, what does a past Batman think about being in the future of DC Comics? Only really Mark Waid has the ability to tell that story in a way, or at least tell it from somebody who has been in both sides at this point. So I think he just really knows these characters well and knows their voices well, and like it's the voices, it's the cute little character interactions throughout that kind of get me going. The fact that young Dick Grayson sees Nightwing and says, "Oh, that guy needs a haircut." That's good. That's
Yeah.
good stuff to me.
Even like the villain choices to interact in these moments, like they feel a little silly, a little goofy. Like Mark really leans into the wackiness of the universe. Superman fighting a Scarecrow in any normal situation, right? That's like a sneeze, and uh, Scarecrow's like out for the count. But like the inclusion of kryptonite um into the spray, sure, it works, right? Why not?
I don't
And
question
then
it.
you get
Yeah,
this. I don't question it. Get this great panel, by the way.
that's my face reading that
Style.
Harley
Yeah.
Quinn fart comic.
um,
Wow.
uh, but those like little moments, just the Sinestro, clamping Batman and Robin, sure, silly.
I did have one issue there. where Batman says we're outmatched. I don't think Batman would say that.
I
Even
think he would absolutely say that.
I think with Sinestro, he'd still figure out something.
Yeah, of course he would. But that doesn't mean you're not outmatched.
I don't know. I was like,
Sinestro has a ring that could do absolutely anything he wants. Yeah, Batman's outmatched.
I guess so.
Of course
I
he
guess
is.
so. I guess so. It
But
reeked
he's
of
Batman. He's gonna figure it out.
it reeked of lack of confidence, but I guess that makes sense. Overall, though, fun ass book.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. What are we? Is issue 4 or 5 in the story?
Four.
4. I
Four.
think
Four of
it's
6.
4 of 6. Okay. Don't know where Batman Beyond's going to come into play, but we'll see.
We got 2 more issues to find out.
Oh, and good news, Sean, if you didn't read the book, I don't know if you did the homework, even though you weren't in school today. You don't have to worry. Batman Who Laughs doesn't show up.
And you know what? Funny enough, that's the reason he wasn't here. He's like, I don't want to do the
Yeah.
entire show. I don't want to do it because
Yep.
of this
He's
one
like,
character.
Perpetua? Don't want to be around. I'm out.
Doesn't even show up.
Wow.
Look at that. Because it's got to happen next issue. And then,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
You guys want to make a trip across the pond? That's not how that works.
You don't want to. You don't want to close a poll.
Yeah.
Find out what the audience says.
I wish I had control over the poll. Marco.
Wow.
Control that
Well,
poll.
I was gonna say, do you guys pull, pass? Where are we at with this?
Oh yeah, I guess we should do that, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's a poll. Not pick of the week, but it's a poll.
Pull.
Yeah, this is a poll. I know my pick of the week now, and I'm very satisfied with it.
Oh damn! I thought it was gonna be Tyler's pick of the week. Okay,
You thought it was World's Finest would be my pick of the week?
I thought so.
Do you pick our preemptive picks before we record previews?
Yeah. Oh no, not before previews.
Okay, so you have some,
I
or
do it
after you read the
before.
books.
I do it before. No, I do it before. I guess it turns out that way, but not because of that.
Got it. Okay.
Batman. Okay. Poll. The listeners have 50% pull, 25% didn't buy or read, 15% pick of the week, and 10% pass. Wow, those numbers are almost
Crisp.
exactly.
Crisp. I believe that's 50-50.
Those are almost exactly the same as New Gods.
Oh really? Oh cool.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah,
different.
exactly the same.
Oh yeah. Wild.
there's more pass.
Yeah. If you guys are picking multiple picks of the week, ruining the numbers, fellas. But no, that's good.
Nuh-uh.
Now
Ah.
we can go over to the world of Marvel, baby, with the Ultimates, number 12, culmination of the arc, I guess. This is by hopefully friend of the show one day, Dennis Kemp. Art by Owen Frigetti. Trying to bring up the colorist, but my app just froze. Somebody has that available. That would be great. Nope, I'm quicker. Colorist Federico Blee, and letters by Travis Lanham. This is the culmination of the second arc of the Ultimates, which has kind of been arc in a loose term. The Ultimates are still reeling of the effects of being mollywopped by the hands of Bruce Banner and his immortal weapons when they were in heaven, I guess is what they called it.
Yeah.
And since then, they've been kind of reestablishing who they are, recruiting some new people, kind of rebuilding the Ultimates. 2.0, essentially, is what they called it here. And this is kind of like a group check-in, really. You know, the Ultimates are doing their thing. They're around. They are a little more savvy now that, you know, they almost all died. But now Tony Stark and Reed, Dr. Doom, have them all sit down for a meeting to reveal, now that Tony's, you know, back, you know, in the land of living and moving, and he's got the Immortus engine in him instead of having the whatever they call it in the 616.
Power cell, whatever.
Yeah. He knows that, oh, remember when I told Dr. Doom that he can't use the Immortus engine? Yeah, he's been using it this whole time. But Dr. Doom reveals a secret that he actually used it to save them, because they all actually did die, and he just changed the past.
He really just said, "Hey guys, take a knee.
Yeah,
we
you're
gotta have
welcome.
a talk."
You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what? Okay. And that was like the crux of this issue, right? And
Yeah.
I think it was meant to, because then the rest of it is just discussion about the ethics of that. Should we have done that? Oh, now we're putting the plan at jeopardy. And I think a lot of this was meant to be more of a emotional, more of like conflict than I think came across. And that was probably my biggest gripe with this was there were moments where I could start to feel something between the characters, the tension,
Mm.
and then I got pulled away because I'm trying to find an example here, but where I would get pulled away from the moment, and it didn't land as uh, uh, consequential for me because that was what 6 issues ago. So we know they've been fine. What do they? What I guess is the issue here that yes he used this and he shouldn't have, and now that's just the thing not to do.
Yes. The whole thing was like they got a peek into Ultimate's future with that event that kicked off the Ultimate Universe or whatever it was. And they knew because of that they cannot use the Immortus engine, especially to try and because the maker can come out at any moment if you screw it up, and they're still preparing for him. But he did anyway, and he saved their asses. I don't think I liked this issue. I thought, Marco, I think you're right. The whole of it is an argument, a discussion, it's a meeting, but I don't think there's real tension. Like Tony pretty quickly says, "No, yeah, you were right, Reed. You did the right thing. I know it was the wrong thing, but at the end of the day, I'm with you." It felt like a student union trying to figure out what they're going to protest, and everyone just agrees on it. It's like, oh, okay. It's like trying to get a review done of your writing, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that was good. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's not what I wanted. There was no real conflict in the chunk of the issue for me.
Or at the very least it was very mild mannered, like it was done, the conflict was resolved with rational people. There wasn't like these high points of irrationality or drama. It was just uh I Tony at this at one point says, I didn't call everyone here just to put you on trial. I just thought we needed to get everything out in the open so we could decide on the future of this together. Like, all right, you fucking went to therapy, fine, but like, give me a little more.
Yeah, I really felt lost in the ethical discussion of it all because like the problem for me with these books is and reading month to month overall is that I forget what happened, right? So in the Doom issue, whenever that was, I completely forgot about his mice and like what his whole objective is. So they're bringing up stuff that I just don't remember. I vaguely have a recollection of the fact that they're not supposed to time travel or something. And I got to a point where I was like, wait, I think I recall this. I think I recall that. Okay, he did the bad thing, which was go get them because they were gonna die. Okay, yeah, but that's the right thing to do. Oh, they agree with me. Well,
That's
That's
exactly how I
resolved.
felt at the beginning of the issue. It was like, well, like even like
yeah,
Luke Cage, like even the issue that we had with Luke Cage, he doesn't join the team.
that's not what I got.
Well,
Yeah.
well, at least at the end of the issue, he's like, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm doing my thing. Like I
Right, right.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And then
didn't get that he joined the team.
in this issue, he's just on the team now, which I was like, oh, sure, cool, I
Yeah,
guess, awesome.
like did Doom change time and do that? Like,
I don't know. I think this is the month to month is showing its issue here too. I think it's an issue across the board that they should have kept to a year. not a 2-year thing. Because it's narratively crippling.
At the very least, I do like that we get Cap who jumps in here and says, "Look, we need to rethink all of this." Like I like the idea that they're rethinking the structure of the team and what it means and how that should function in relation to the maker. Because one of my concerns has been, yeah, you guys aren't fucking ready. Like you
Yeah.
guys got squashed. So
That was
okay,
6 issues ago, though, and they still haven't showed us that they're ready.
right, right. And so that's my concern. So at the very least, that addresses that piece. Now, are the next 6 issues like a training montage?
It feels like
Actually,
the last 6 issues have been a training montage.
hmm.
And it's also like the synopsis for this issue was also like Tony almost died at the hands of the Hulk. Well, now he's awake and he's ready to kick ass. I mean, talk to his friends. And I gotta tell you, I think I'm over it. I
There-
hope the maker wipes all this shit out. I'm done.
There was that one bit where like Steve pops up. You know, he stands up. It's like, all right, Captain America's gonna have a different opinion, and he's like, "No, okay, I'm with you guys too." I'm like, "What's going on here? Who's the differing voice? They're all saying the same things, sort of differently. They're all getting to the same point though, and it's like, do
Yeah,
we need a whole issue for this?"
You know what? Maybe we're the problem. Maybe
No,
we're,
no,
we,
no. I'm a 30s. I'm never the problem.
hold on. maybe we're the ones that aren't resolving conflicts health in healthy situations. Maybe we saw this and said, no. No punches? No yelling? Agreement? Mm-mm.
And people were saying,
So,
like,
yeah.
like in the chat, like, oh, like, you know, it's because there's no action. And that's the difference. That it's bucking the trend.
I mean, it's not even necessarily that I'm looking for action. I
Me
just,
neither, yeah.
I think I'm looking for conflict.
Yes, there's a movie that came out, Steven Soderbergh written movie, Black Bag recently. Michael Fassbender, Kate Blanchett. It's a spy. It's a spy movie, but all of the action scenes are arguments. There's no actual action, and it is compelling as hell. You can have conflict. You can have character development in situations where there is no action. And I think a meeting, like a team meeting where there's differing ideas, is a great spot for that. Everyone kind of just agrees in this, and that's where like there's a lack of conflict in this for me that I just didn't feel that I know Camp can do.
Yeah, I don't know. And now I feel now I'm being blamed that I have expectations and I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So
What'd you think about the little cliffhanger at the end there? For as much as cliffhangers can exist in the Ultimate Universe with the month-to-month schedule,
what was it?
that Wasp is at the ear of Nick Fury, who is working for the Hand, which is the powers that be.
I didn't read that Hand issue. I don't care. This is Nick Fury, right? Like
He's kind of not a bad Nick Fury, but like he's Nick Fury in the sense that he works for the government and does what the government wants.
he's Nick Fury.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And they're a terrorist organization, so they're like,
So he's Nick Fury and it's Shield.
CIA Nick Fury. Yeah.
you're right, yeah. So I don't know. I'm
It should have been Cap. That's my hot take.
I thought it should have no. I thought it should have been something. I thought it would have been like Hank. Honestly, like
He's
kind
too
of being a
stupid.
pushover.
This is a dumbass Hank.
That's true.
Monster Design says this was an ultimate Zoom call. I mean,
Man, could have been an email.
we've had more conflict in Zoom calls on this show than this issue.
We've had more conflict in this Zoom call
Yes.
than we haven't had in this issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't disagree. Like I don't disagree with what the audience is saying. Like I'm glad there wasn't punching, like a lot of Doom's whole thing throughout this book has been like, oh, let's not have pointless fights. I agree with you. I I love that. But I just think that everyone being on the same page and not even necessarily even needing convincing. Like everybody came to the same conclusion that Doom was right.
She-Hulk doesn't give input. Hawkeye doesn't give input. Human
And
Torch.
Steve was already there.
Yeah.
And like for me, that made sense. Like with this Steve, like he is a battle hardened soldier that came back to life in 2025 or whatever in this world where uh things are radically different from when he went to sleep. I I I feel like Tony really should have been the one to say to hold his ground like the child that he is and say no, you shouldn't have used the Immortus engine.
Hmm.
And Tilo, yes, Cap was on the same page. Yes, they were.
I don't know. We got Ultimates 3.0 coming with the next issue, whatever that means. Sure. I will say this. As a whole, I'm still enjoying this series. I like the first half much more than the second half, but the second half is still compelling enough as a whole for me to like it. I think this issue might be my first pass of the series so far. Like the Federico Blee art is really good. Like he has a good face, even though this issue was him just drawing faces, and a lot of them weren't emoting or reacting; they were just Zoom calls. I think generally it's a good book, but this might have been my least favorite issue so far.
Juan Frigeri, Blees on the colors.
Yes, my bad.
Pull still. I want to see like this feels like a lull, and I think that's okay for a
Sure.
book. And that's where I'm at with this issue, and maybe an issue or two in between.
I man, I am getting so annoyed with saying this. I need movement. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it.
You need that Jeff Lemire JSA where a whole arc happens in an issue.
Man, somebody kill Wildcat over here. Fuck.
Is there a
It's a
cat-based
pass.
Marvel? Is there a tiger we can kill off real quick?
It's a pass for me.
Damn. Which is surprising because I don't think any of us have said what our pick of the weeks are. But hey,
I think it's
I think
pretty
it's
clear at this
at this
point.
point, yeah. What did the fans, the listeners think of this, Marco?
Chillmonger says, "When's the last time you saw something successfully branded 3.0?
iOS, maybe.
Oh.
Successfully?
Well,
Oh wow, these numbers are a little rough.
oh
Didn't
boy.
buy read 41%, poll 31, pass 15%, and pick of the week 11%. I feel like people might be off on this one, or maybe off on the ultimates.
They might be hopping off the train. I mean,
That's
Absolute continues to
I
go
think
up.
that's
This one is going
I,
down.
I think that's the highest pick of the week number we've seen so far.
No, we've had. I think it was New Gods at 15.
It's New Gods.
Yeah.
I do think it's still a strong book. So
Agreed.
these polls and these pick of the week still make sense to me. But I like this countdown is really just it's wearing thin. And especially with this book that it's either great, it's either like every 4 issues, it's either something crazy insane
Yeah.
that blows your mind, or it's light character work that ultimately is, yeah, fairly skippable, or it's preaching. And I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah. Well, see if issue 13 could blow your pants back off. But for now, they remain politely on. They are on, right?
Delightfully.
Well,
Pardon?
they are on right now, right?
My pants? No,
Yeah.
I'm not wearing pants right
Okay, cool.
Who
Well,
wears
is it
pants?
because your pants were blown off because of Amazing Spider-Man number 4?
now.
This is
Hey.
written by Joe Kelly, art by Pepe Larraz, colors by Marte Gracia, and letters by Joe
Oh,
Caramagna.
Caramagna. Oh, that was a guess.
Well, I mean, with Marvel, you got a handful. It's you bet like a 25% chance of guessing it right. Cale, since those pants are off, did this blow them off?
I'll tell you what. Pick of the week.
I mean, process of elimination. This is a unanimous pick of the week for a Joe Kelly Spider-Man book.
Wow.
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 We did not talk beforehand. We did not plan this. Why is it your pick of the week, Cal? Why is this? I keep forgetting to recap. Why is this issue of Spider-Man facing off against Itsy Bitsy and Hobgoblin while he's going on a soda-induced acid trip? Why does this spark joy with you?
So for me, again, what I really love is it's not even the Spider-Man moments, it's the moments in Peter's past. I really think that what Joe is doing here is he's picking a small moment in a teenager's life where he's, Aunt May says it, he's trying to figure out who he is. He's trying to figure out, who his friends are and what he wants it to be. And, it's all rooted in teenage angst, and his feelings of being an orphan, essentially. Every time young Peter mentions his parents, he says, my aunt and uncle, they're not my parents. And it's so different from the way adult Peter sees his family. And I think this small moment says more about young Peter than any Spider-Man comic has in decades.
Mm.
Like I think this young Peter Parker, like we see who he cares about and we see how he cares. And we can tell that May and Ben really, really care. They really want to try and get through to him. I assume in the way that, I don't have kids, but I assume in the way that our parents did, right? Um, they just want to understand what's going on and they just want to be there for him. And it's just such a lovely vignette of this young person that we've known for so long. I really really love this this section of storytelling.
100% agreed. I don't think I have anything to add to that. That was exactly the moment where I like that 2-page spread. I was like, shit, I felt
What's
something there.
the beer drinking one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I wanted to point out. Yep.
and I think the point where they're drinking the beer, right? They're sitting down. The backdrop is him still getting punched, right? He's going
Get
through these
his ass
emotional beats.
kicked. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still getting fucked up in real life. I think was great to have running through the background. the wretch, right? Him throwing up is a punch in the gut. Oh,
Yeah.
so good, so
Yeah.
smart.
It's great.
But there was a language choice where um, uh, 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 he's talking to Brian, and he's just like, uh, this guy hates his parents, and the most that Peter can say is, "Yeah, my parents suck." This guy actively is like,
Yeah.
my old man thinks I'm nothing. You'll be a great plumber because you're a shithead. Uh, and Peter's just like, screw him, Brian. He doesn't know jack about you. My parents suck too. Like the extent of which they could speak to their parents and to the people, um, is telling. And um, and then to what Cale said, you just feel the love from Ben and May. They just want the best for who he is, and ultimately the answer is, oh, you're just angry. You're just angry. How do we work through that together?
And
And not even angry. They go
he's
past
scared.
the
Yeah,
anger.
he's scared.
He's scared and he's hurt.
Yeah.
Mm, mm,
It's a real and the why that this is happening to Peter is that the Hobgoblin is spiking soda with drugs that give people anxiety attacks. Essentially, we don't know the why of that yet, but the fact that this is how Peter's anxiety is manifesting, it's manifesting in probably something he still feels horrible about, that he thinks about constantly. This is when you go to bed and you think about that one thing that you screwed up in high school. It's like, oh, that was embarrassing. Like I'm 33 and I'm still thinking about something that happened when I was 16. It's thinking about that one thing in the back of your head, which is such a good representation of anxiety. That's somebody that is supposed to be the everyman in Peter Parker. It's nice to see him deal with something I even deal with. Like, and that is the fact that Joe Kelly is doing that is such a Peter Parker thing, but it's also kind of a modern thing.
Mm. And I think it's also very telling of who Aunt May is.
Exactly.
In that, she was there in that moment, and she was there when he was puking, and she was there to hold him while he revealed that hurt to her. She's not always just this doddering old lady. She's truly loves this boy, and this was just a beautiful moment between them.
And it's a great depiction of May, even though it's not even her. Like this is Peter's representation of his memories of her. So there's some skewing involved, but it's still great. And I think there's that one bit where Peter comes to that realization and he hugs May, and then we flash back to the present day and he's hugging Itsy Bitsy, who in a way Spider-Man's her idol. So this throws her completely off track.
yeah.
Which I was like, man, that's a great. It's like a weird emotional beat. That's the Deus Ex Machina, because that's the one thing that saves him. And I was like, oh, do I like Itsy Bitsy now? Do I like this character that I only knew about from this 4 issues? I think I might, which I thought was also impressive from Joe Kelly. Sure, I mean, there's a bit of a hot monster going on by Pepe Larraz here that I don't hate. So that definitely helps. But, and speaking of Larraz drawing stuff that I did not hate, part of Peter's anxiety spiral, you see that thing where like all the faces of the people he loves, you got Chasm, you got Harry, May, and it's like, and you lost the 2 women you've ever loved. And then it's just big mommy giantess Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy. I was like, oh, I know Marco is buying this physically.
Yeah.
Weird. Those pages don't separate.
I think I also like. I think that's like a truism to Peter Parker as well, and it's something, frankly, that I think a lot of Spider-Man readers are going to neglect, especially the ones that hate current Amazing Spider-Man because he's not with Mary Jane or whatever their dumb reasons are. Like, people in their lives, they mess up and they have to move on. And, Peter messed up and the people around him died or moved on. And that's, that's what's being reflected here. Like, it's not that it's inconsequential, it plagues him, but that's just life.
Peter Parker's greatest villain and maybe his greatest asset is guilt. And this is a great representation of feeling the guilt, but overcoming it and realizing it's just part of you, good and bad.
Yep.
Man, this is just and it's not even the last issue of the arc. We still got one more. Like we still have the climax to have. Yeah, the wrap up. Like, man, I'm so happy this book is completely the opposite of what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Kudos to Joe Kelly. I was fucking wrong.
Yeah, especially after the last arc, the
Eight deaths. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, it was a bit of a stinker.
bad
Yeah.
feelings going in. The comical wonder here says like the core. I personally believe that Peter at the core, like some of the heroes, is an average guy with immense power that's constantly going through shit and makes bad decisions every now and then, 100%, and has to live through the consequences of that. And this is him dealing with it, and that's the reason we come back for this book.
And I'd argue that's why Spider-Man is the greatest superhero of all time.
It's just a guy.
Yeah.
He's just a dude.
Mhm.
And then also, sorry, I don't know if we shouted this out earlier. Entertain Me, a resubs for a rejoins for a member, a Comics Pal sidekick, and had said, "I got info on Absolute Batman #9 about Catwoman." You?
I imagine him with a trench coat under a bridge somewhere. Hey, you want some info about Absolute
Hey,
Batman?
hey, kid, I got Absolute Batman #9 here. You want a taste?
I did just have a friend DM me the other day, and she was like, "Hey, you want some scripts for some movies that are not out yet? That are
Did you say yes?
yeah, I'll talk to you about that for the show."
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, yes, I do." But that's what I imagined here. But man, there's the Pepe Larraz. I mean, there's not enough we can say about Larraz
Oh,
at this point. There's that one bit where Hobgoblin hits him with the Doctor Doom double kick from Marvel vs. Capcom. I think it's like the down air. That's just like, man. Oh yeah, just yeets him across the page. I do not like Hobgoblin. I've been on the record saying this. Pepe Larraz Hobgoblin is pretty damn cool. I don't know who he is yet in terms of story, but I don't dislike him, which means there's progress.
yeah. And I know Marco pointed out earlier, but the spread where we're in the campfire scene and Peter's getting drunk and beaten up at the same time doesn't even look like Pepe Larraz. Like
No,
the
yeah.
Spider-Man bits in that look like a bit of like Marcos Martin.
Mm.
Especially because like the inverting too of the colors, kind of like
Yeah,
Martine is
yeah.
known to do stuff like that. Yeah,
It just like it's so good and it's such clever design and interesting panel work.
I was getting a bit of like JR from it too, just how up close the fighting was in that.
Sure.
Where it's like guttural. It's like there's no room there really.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's something that JR just has to do now. But
Well, yeah, and in this case, it's like, I think Laraz is, and Kelly as well. I think is probably fair to say. Um, we know what a fight against Spider-Man looks like, but the emotional weight of this moment and Peter being an asshole here, like that's the fight. That's what's really happening. That's the action behind the action.
easy pick of the week for me. I loved it.
Pick of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
And I was
So good.
surprised by the end. I was like, am I picking Spider-Man as my pick of the week? And we're Ultimates, an absolute book, and a new Dan Slott Superman book. Like that's
New Gods, man.
yeah, New Gods too. Yeah,
Heavy week. And the listeners, 36% of you pull, 34% of you didn't buy or read. Wow. Pick of the week, 21%. I think the highest
That's
of
it. Yep.
yeah, today, and then past 7%. That's wild that 34% of you guys are not reading this book.
a Spider-Man mainline. This is a capital A Amazing Spider-Man.
It's
And then
also,
DC had
we're a Marvel podcast, so
it's true.
But it's also got that stank on it for whatever reason.
yeah. Go pick this one up, man. It's good.
It's rare we get a unanimous. I'd be curious to see what Sean's would have been.
Yeah, right.
I think it's
Kinda think it-
possible.
I think it would have been Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Would have
Must
been
have
Spider-Man. Yeah. Nuts.
Although I can
Nuts stuff.
kind of see Ultimates. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, those are the books.
I could see it being Ultimates too.
Yeah. I can tell you what it wasn't. New Gods. Yeah. So those are the books we're reading this week. But Marco and Cale, well, they want to do a little extra credit. They checked out Sleep by Xander Cannon. I'd give you a quick rundown of what it was, but I didn't read it. So somebody else take the reins here.
So Sleep by Xander Cannon is it's a book about a guy who wakes up he wakes up on his couch after a night and weird stuff has happened. Basically, he wakes up and there are cow parts all over his front yard and the all over his front yard, and the front part of sort of his house is damaged and a bit destroyed. And something happened in the night that people in town know about, but he doesn't. So we basically go through the town and sort of the happenings of the town. I can't. Marco, do you remember this guy's name? Jonathan. Jonathan goes. I think they go to church, and he meets up with his friend. And turns out there's an old high school buddy that's in town, and he has to go to work later. This issue is slow, but it's doing a lot of groundwork of setting up this town and setting up Jonathan's life very specifically to what I would assume is get you to the action later on. Like, it sets up quite a bit of mystery. The other thing is it's in black and white with only like hints of red. Yeah, Jonathan's glasses are red. The friend from out of town has like a bracelet that looks like a bicycle chain. That's red. There are weird what look like cult runes all over town that are done in red. It's interesting. I know Xander Cannon from Kaiju Max. And I love that series. So I'm pumped to see what he's going to do here.
I think one of the things to add is there's this level of suspense, or like there's this overarching like tension that exists over everything from the first page. And it's building this mystery, but it's also there are these coincidences that are happening around town, and it's all kind of coming together to set up the ruin of this guy's life potentially. Because there's also like that, is there like sexual tension between his girl and the friend too, and are all of these things going to ultimately culminate in what I think becomes a monster story to some degree? So we'll see how that plays out. I had a lot of fun with this issue. This I thought was really cool. The art, I'm not familiar with Xander Cannon beyond the name of a Kaiju Max, and so seeing his art for the first time, he does these really interesting things with like perspective, the way that he drives the eye in comics, or in between panels rather. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the second issue of this. The black and white didn't bother me. I'm used to reading comics like that, so I
You're
thought
notoriously colorblind. That's what the audience doesn't know.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought a strong entry. We'll see where this goes because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting is that he in the back he starts like a letters page and he says that with Kaiju Max it was really just an absolute free for all. So Kaiju Max is his story about it's basically Godzilla meets Oz, the the HBO uh
Okay. Yeah.
prison
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Is there any
it's
kaiju
basically
sized soap dropped in that?
yes,
Oh no.
genuinely. Yes. It's a it's Godzilla going to super prison basically. And that it was something I want to say it was like 5 or 6 volumes of just like whatever he wanted the story to be, he would just make it. And it had this huge cast and it went all sorts of directions. But with this, he said he really wanted to make a very tight knit narrative that happens in one small town with a cast of like 10 people. And I think we meet all 10 people in this issue.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this one.
So a pull.
Yeah, I
I'm
would.
gonna keep going. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you to Image also. They give us those early previews, so I bought this for posterity.
Well,
Amen.
you bought it maybe because Sean's not around, which means there's no Sean stack.
Interesting.
But I didn't make
No
a graphic.
Sean stack.
We got Marco. Do you want to take over the stack? Is it Marco's mass? Marco's mound? Marco's mound sounds
Marco's,
I don't like
dirty.
that.
That sounds dirty.
Marco's mound.
Marco's
Written-
mountain?
Marco's
no,
mountain.
No, I don't like
I don't like
that.
mound. No,
I
no, that sounds like
quite like
pubic
it.
fat.
No.
Give your guess, your best guesstimate in the chat of how many comics I bought in addition to the 6 that we read, the 7 that Cale and
Technically,
I read
yeah.
for the show.
Yeah.
This is interesting because the number really could be anything.
Yep. Because you're in and out of the shop. You can go to the shop. You can buy one book, Marco.
Yeah.
I could.
Marco's monolith. That's great.
Marco's monolith is better than Marco's mound. That
Yeah.
sounds
Good
dirty.
call, Dave. Good call, David Melendez, Doria.
Mounds bring the boys to the yard.
Okay. Well,
Don't like that one
Let us
bit.
know. And
I don't doubt it
for
though.
anybody who guesses right, you get the proverbial no prize,
Yeah.
or the codes to some of the books that I got from Marvel because I did get some. So maybe a hint there.
Tyler, we had if you have something planned here,
Sure.
go
I
ahead and
don't.
stop me.
I don't.
Okay, great. We had a request a little bit earlier. Oh, I'm frozen. That's fun.
I hear you still. Yeah.
We had a request earlier to see if you had any new toys or action figures.
I don't because I'm broke.
Yeah, I feel that.
I had a pre-order that came in and I was like, send it back. I don't need it.
I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I canceled it was a Tony the Tiger new action figure. I wanted it, but gotta be smart these days. Plus the taxes, the whole Trump tariff thing scared the shit out of toy manufacturers.
Yeah.
Real bad. A lot of like a big bag toy store, which is I typically use. They're like, hey, here's an extra charge we're putting on everything now, even stuff that's in stock.
Damn.
So I'm out of the game for the foreseeable future. I was gifted the Marvel Legends Maximum Spider-Man, which I've been on display for the past couple weeks. If you noticed,
That's a Marvel Legends.
yeah, he's like the most articulate Spider-Man they've ever made.
Did that come with another head?
It came with multiple heads. It came with a Peter head. Came with tons of webs, multiple hands, and a more expressive eye head too.
I was gonna say that looks like a McFarlane eye.
Yeah, this is definitely a McFarlane era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is now my most collected character. He's up there with Daredevil and strangely Ben Reilly. That was accidental.
No way.
I have 4 Ben Reillys.
Ben's got the coolest
He
suits.
really has the coolest costumes. I have the Chasm one. I have the Clone Saga one. I have the more modern one, and then I have the another one from Spencer's run. I forget.
Damn, it's a cool character.
The most recent thing that I bought is this shiny Charmander Funko
Ooh,
Pop.
they have shiny
Ooh.
Funko Pops.
Well, so it's called soft color.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. It's me when I go to the
Yeah.
beach.
But this one it may be that it's supposed to be shiny, but I have a very deep hatred for Funko Pops.
Same.
But I couldn't resist it.
I will say I
Yeah.
have one Funko Pop on pre-order that I'm going to keep because the proportions of it match the proportions of it normally, and that's
Go
the
on.
Billy and Mandy Grim Reaper
Yeah.
Funko Pop.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
these
yeah.
just work. So I have that on pre-order. Once that comes in, I'll show it. Whenever Pals Pulls that is. But Marco, you got a number? Should we just go through these numbers here? We got a couple.
got
Not
it,
as
yeah.
Yeah,
well,
go
we
for
got
it.
to come
Yeah,
down
go for it.
actually.
It's pretty hot, I think. All right, here we go. We've got Nier. Is he far away? Who can say? 15 for the stack. Perennial winner. Maybe. James Jones says 14 for Marco. Robert Cashaback says, I'm in for 6. Uh-oh, Robert. C.W. Gordon says Marco's a wild card. 14. Carter Mitchell says 10. Steve Canaris says 10. Entertain Me says 23. Hayden's Hideout says 11. Chill says, let's say 3. Uh-oh, Chill.
Chill came in a little late there.
Banksy Main says 9. Brian 12ish says 8. Marowak Esquiro says 16. Ted H thinks Marco has all the money in the world, says 33.
Jesus.
Man, you got angel
Rami
numbers.
Darwish says 16. Izzy says 9. Roboters says 13.
Okay. All right. So we got the 7 aforementioned we read for the show.
Look at you fanning it out like you have like money.
Wow.
You know.
And
Do you have bags and boards for these?
I do.
Okay, Marco uses protection. Good to know.
Man, I gotta start doing that.
I mean,
I've been raw dogging.
Don't rock dog, dude. I've read all of these, so these are all going out, except for the ones I'm gonna cut up. They're all going out.
Well, get the codes out of them first.
Yeah. This one, Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma number 2. Didn't
Okay.
get this last time, so I wanted to grab it.
This is the wild card nature. You're getting stuff from weeks gone by.
Yeah, who knows?
Speaking of,
that
Martian Manhunter number 2, because I
two?
don't have
Yeah,
issue number
yeah.
2. From this week, Spider-Man Wolverine. Definitely want to get to this one. Carl Andrews though, so I don't know.
Any allegations this week from his art? Or
He
he's
hasn't read it
one.
yet.
He's in the clear.
Nothing I've heard yet. The Thing, which I'm very excited. Tony Fleeks,
This dude showing his thing on camera. Come on.
Justin Mason, I believe. So excited for this one. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Dude, it's so good.
I can't wait to read it.
It's so. There is an interaction between Sonic and a Flash villain.
Ooh. Okay. See.
Oh,
Nightwing.
you did pick that up. I wasn't sure if you were
Yeah.
going to go ahead with it. Cool.
And you know what's funny? I forgot that I have this on subscription for Comixology. So I have double dipped on this one.
Nice. Get Dan Waters them books.
And that's all.
Whoa,
13.
13, yeah.
Somebody
okay.
guessed 13,
Robotters.
Yeah. Robotters
Wow.
got it. I think somebody else
think it's-
before him got it as well.
No,
the money.
it's Roboters.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just happy. No,
On-
no offense to James Jones, but it would have been wild if he also got Marco Stack with
Wow,
zero
wouldn't that be crazy?
way of knowing.
Marco's Monolith?
I would literally think that, he has infected our computer
He's a mole.
somehow.
Yeah,
He's a
James
mole.
Jones was one off.
There
Cool.
it is. Well, please reach out to me, Discord, if you want the codes for any of the Marvel books. That is The Thing, Spider-Man, Wolverine, what else we do? Ultimate and Amazing Spider-Man.
Cool. All right.
Oh, thank you, but he says thank you, but double it and give it to the next one.
Oh, so that means Marco's just going to throw it outside his apartment.
Yep. So somebody let me know who might want it. Please reach out to me via Discord.
Honest question. Do you know if people are actually grabbing these, or are they just getting thrown out?
You know,
Are you giving more work to somebody?
I don't know, because like sometimes I leave it out there and it's they get picked, right? And some are like there's like a pile of 7, there's 2. So I would assume somebody's going through and picking for themselves.
I want to know what's
I would
left
hope.
over.
Yeah, and whatever's left over is like, I don't
New
know,
gods.
like a random, some kind of random indie shit,
Interesting. Okay. Is Murder Nun going to be in there?
I'll tell you what, the all the Batman stuff, I put it out there. I come back outside to throw out the trash like 20 minutes later, gone.
Really?
Listen, it's Batman.
Yeah, that's what Batman does. Turn around, he's gone. Oh, guys, that's been Palace Pulse. Thank you for having us. Thanks for talking about comics. Continue the conversation on our Discord, where I'm sure people have thoughts on stuff. People have a lot of thoughts.
If you're here but you're not in the Discord, you're only getting half the conversation.
That is what they say about RuPaul's Drag Race and Untucked.
Yeah, you're only getting half the tuck.
I'm fully tucked every episode. I don't know about you guys.
Yo, tucked or bricked?
Listen. You know what? In both cases, I can't sit this long and do either of those.
Which means we got to go now. Cale's got a 3-minute session to get to. But okay, maybe I'll give you 4.
All right, thanks.
That's it, guys. We will.
Don't forget to show up for the show.
Oh, yes.
At 10:15 Eastern on Saturday.
Which
who knows what we're gonna do this week?
I think there's some more Diamond news this week that we'll probably touch on. Avengers just got delayed, the movie. So still no news of Blade though. Funny how that is. And and DC announced a whole bunch of new digital books too. So I don't know. We'll see.
Sick.
It's gonna be a more traditional week this week probably.
Yep.
But yeah.
Don't forget we're doing Dark Avengers for the book club.
Yep.
That will be
next week.
Is it next week?
Next Tuesday.
27th.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hurry up.
Uh-oh, guys.
Too busy doing extra credit for the show.
Thought I had more time. Uh-oh.
It's
issues?
It's one of our quicker reads, so there is that. Yeah.
Hope so. And don't forget that the new Wes Anderson film comes out tomorrow.
Dude.
The Phoenician Scheme. I'm gonna go see it.
Dude, I'm so hyped. I want to see Friendship too. The new what's his face? Never mind. This is not what the show is.
I don't know that one. Okay, now we can go.
I don't know how to do the sign off.